In this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 Air Jordan sneakers that is a must-have for almost any sneakerhead's collection. Now, when I was putting this list together, I didn't even consider what any of the resale prices were for any of the sneakers on this list. I didn't even look at them. But what I did consider is some of the stories back behind some of these sneakers, and in my opinion, what I believe is an iconic silhouette or an iconic colorway. So this list is totally my opinion, and if you disagree with this list, I totally understand. But let me know down in the comments section what your top 5 Air Jordan sneakers are of all time. Now, kicking the list off at number 5, we have the Air Jordan 12 Flu Game. Now, for many years, we believe that Michael Jordan actually had the flu during the 1997 finals against the Utah Jazz, but it turns out during the Last Dance documentary that he actually had food poisoning. Now, whether it was food poisoning or the flu, one thing is undeniable: it was one of the most gutsiest, iconic performances by an athlete of all time. And during that game, Michael Jordan played 44 minutes, he scored 38 points, and basically willed the Chicago Bulls to victory over the Utah Jazz in Game 5. It's one of the most iconic performances ever, and it basically just born the legend into the Air Jordan 12 Flu Game that will probably live on forever. So in my opinion, the Air Jordan 12 Flu Game is definitely a must-have sneaker in your collection. Now, moving on to the number 4 must-have Air Jordan sneaker of all time, we have the Air Jordan 3 Black Cement. Now, this is an original colorway debuting all the way back in 1988, and the only time that Michael Jordan wore this colorway on the court was during the 1988 NBA All-Star Game where he won the MVP. Now, this sneaker has retroed about 6 or 7 times since its original release back in 1988. It's very, very popular. It definitely sells out every time that it drops, and it's normally really hard to get. Now, because Michael Jordan only wore this sneaker on the court one time, it just adds to its mystique and just makes it more of an iconic sneaker. So because of that, I believe that this is a must-have sneaker for your collection. Now, moving on to the number 3 must-have Air Jordan sneaker of all time, we have the Air Jordan 4 Bred. Originally releasing back in 1989, the Air Jordan 4 silhouette borrowed a lot of elements from the Air Jordan 3, but in my personal opinion, the Air Jordan 4 is just one of my favorites. I just really love the silhouette. I love the way it looks. I love the way that they added a lot of elements to that sneaker that the Air Jordan 3 didn't have. It's still one of my personal favorite silhouettes to this day. And one of the most iconic moments of Michael Jordan wearing the Air Jordan 4 Bred was during the playoffs where he hit the game-winning buzzer-beating shot against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And because of my personal opinion, I believe that the Air Jordan 4 silhouette is one of the best Air Jordan silhouettes of all time. I think that the iconic nature of this colorway, it being an OG colorway, that iconic picture of Michael Jordan celebrating after hitting that game-winning shot in the playoffs, to me, this is a must-have for any sneakerhead's collection. Now, moving on to the number 2 must-have Air Jordan sneaker of all time, we have the Air Jordan 1 Chicago. Originally debuting back in 1985, and this sneaker only had a retail price tag of $65. Now, $65 was probably a lot for sneakers 36 years ago, but over the course of, 36, 37 years, we've seen many different colorways, many different adaptations of the Air Jordan 1, whether it's a low, a mid, or a high. But nothing really hits the way that the Air Jordan 1 Chicago, with its just basic red, black, and white colorway. This sneaker really hasn't retroed a lot since its original release back in 1985, maybe only a handful of times, so it's definitely a grail for a lot of people. If this sneaker ever releases in the near future, you can expect this sneaker to sell out really quickly, and I don't even want to see what the resale prices would be. Because of its limited nature, because of its iconic nature, in my opinion, this is a must-have sneaker for your collection. Now, the Air Jordan 1 Chicago could have easily been number 1 on this list. As a matter of fact, any Air Jordan 1 original colorway could have took this top spot. But you do have, more of a vintage look when it comes to the Air Jordan 1, and it is one of the most iconic, most recognizable basketball sneakers pretty much in the history of mankind. But for my top spot, I'm going with the Air Jordan 11 Concord. Now, the reason why I'm going with the Jordan 11 Concord over the Air Jordan 1 is not because I think that the Air Jordan 11 is better or anything like that. But the reason why I think it takes the top spot, in my opinion, for a must-have sneaker is because the Air Jordan 11 changed the way that we think about sneakers. It changed the way we think about materials on sneakers. And as you have seen over the years, they've given us many different Jordan 11s that pretty much changed the entire sneaker game, pretty much revolutionized it for the future, and I don't think that anything has really caught up to the Air Jordan 11 since. Now, that's not to say that there's not better sneakers than the Air Jordan 11 or different better colorways or anything like that. I just think that the Air Jordan 11 definitely holds the same amount of weight as the Air Jordan 1. And because they took a little bit of risk with it, putting patent leather on a sneaker back in those days was kind of unheard of. You know what I mean? They took a risk and it paid off. And because of that, I believe that it just holds a more, just a more special place, just a tad bit over the Air Jordan 1, which has totally been saturated for the last 38 years or so. Now, the Air Jordan 11 Concord, when that originally came out, Michael Jordan was coming out of retirement, and it had the 45 on the back. It was a sneaker that we've never seen before. It was like looking into the future. And because like I was growing up during that time, and when Michael Jordan was wearing that sneaker, you know what I mean? It just stayed with me. Now, the Air Jordan 11 came out the same season that Michael Jordan came out of retirement from playing baseball. So to see Michael Jordan on the court again, wearing that sneaker, that futuristic sneaker, you know, in the mid to late 90s, for a kid watching that, you know what I mean? Like, that was a sneaker that I absolutely had to have, you know, and in those days, you know, I couldn't afford to pick it up or anything like that because I was just a little kid. But, you know, growing up, you know, it's still a sneaker that I think fondly of. You know, I do try to cop the Concords every time they retro. And, you know, to me, I just believe that it's just one of the most, you know, just iconic sneakers. Michael Jordan going through all that in his life, you know, with his father passing away, trying to go play baseball, and then ultimately coming back to the NBA to win 3 more championships. It was the start of the second part of his NBA career, which, you know, I could argue was just as good or not better than the first half of his career. So because of that, I believe that the Air Jordan 11 Concord is a definite must-have sneaker for your collection and number 1 on my list. But guys, if you disagree with my top 5 list, that's totally cool with me. I totally understand. But I do want to know what your top 5 is. So let me know what sneakers, what silhouettes, you know, what colorways and stuff like that. And tell me why in the comment section below. I would like to thank you all for rocking out with me and watching this video. And until next time, peace.